Wisconsin Foodie would like to thank the following underwriters. We are a collection of the finest farmers, food producers, and chefs on the planet. We are a merging of cultures and ideas shaped by this land. We are a gathering of the waters, and together, we shape a new identity to carry us into the future. We are storytellers. We are Wisconsin Foodie.
We're in Hixton, Wisconsin this morning, and we're gonna walk through a place that I've driven by for years with a question mark as to what is this? This is Superior Fresh. We're gonna meet with President Gottsacker, the president and CEO, and we're gonna find out exactly what's going on in here. Morning, Brandon.
Good morning, good to see you.
Good to see you. How's it going today?
Great.
We need to answer a question that I've had for a while, and I know lots of other folks have had too. What are the pink glowing lights on the side of the interstate?
You bet. Well, we're growing Atlantic salmon and organic leafy green vegetables underneath LEDs. They're highly efficient LED lights that we use to grow in the wintertime, which most people can't do in Wisconsin winters.
Right.
I think we should go check it out.
Awesome. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Okay.
So, obviously, biosecurity is extremely important at a food facility like this, so we gotta put on these super fancy booties.
Yeah.
Next step, we're just gonna get washed up.
Okay.
All right, so we'll go check out the cedar in the early life stages first and work our way up all the way through harvest and then packaging. Here's the seeding machine. So Aaron's actually running the cedar this morning. And as you can see, we use an organic media that we dump into this hopper. The hopper brushes the media into our boards. And we've got a vacuum seeder, a drum seeder here that actually rotates with the board and drops a certain number of seeds per slot. So this looks like kale. And each one of these slots will receive anywhere between 6 and 12 seeds. And there's 100 slots on a board. We plant every single day of the week. So we plant everything from kale to mustard to arugula to spinach, green romaine, red romaine, mizuna, pak choy, all kinds of different varieties.
Sure.
And every one requires a little different process.
Okay.
So we've got a little dibbler that pushes the seed down.
Sure.
And then the board travels over here and gets watered. And so you can see just a nice gentle spray. That's going to get the seed to activate and begin germination process. We take the boards and we move them into a germination room. So this is the germination room. Each one of these boards is containing thousands and thousands of seeds. And they come into a germ room, depending on the variety, it might be 2 to 3 days before they actually go out into the greenhouse. So let's check out some seeds that I've already germinated. You can see these are mustards, and they're just starting to pop up. They're ready to go out in the pool today.
And the whole stack is ready to go.
Should be.
Should be.
Let's check them out.
Wow.
You bet, they're all ready to rock. So the team will come in here every day and cart out the product that's ready to go out into the grow space in the greenhouse. So we just simply grab these carts and wheel them right out to the pools. So before we head in the greenhouse, let's check out the propagation room. This is where all the head lettuce goes before it goes out in the greenhouse.
What's the deal with the light in here, Brandon?
Pretty cool. So we're actually saving a ton of space and using vertical grow racks to get these seedlings started before they go out into the greenhouse and take up a bunch more space.
And are we still talking to like the red-blue spectrum lights here? Is that why?
Yep, so that's why it looks pink, is it's actually the red and blue light that's being delivered to the plant. That's the most efficient spectrums to invest energy into.
Into invest for the plant or for you as a business?
Both.
Both,
Yep.
okay.
easiest light to create from these spectrums, and it's the best light or spectrum for the plants to absorb. So a little bit more efficient than sticking these small seedlings out into a big greenhouse.
Sure. So this is a completely different media down here that these are growing in, right? They're like plugs?
Yep, these are plugs. So this is an organic peat moss with a little fibrous container around it to keep all the peat moss together.
So each one of these things is perfect, basically. It's like, it's a perfect start.
Yep, you bet.
Is there ever a plan? I mean, obviously you guys have this growing science figured out. Will it always be leafy vegetables, or do you have plans to expand into different types of plants?
We definitely have bigger plans. So our phase 3 greenhouse expansion will have about 15,000 square feet of R&D space. And we're going to focus on organic tomatoes, organic strawberries, and we're also introducing an awful lot of various herbs pretty
Sure.
soon here. So this is going to be ready to head out to the greenhouse. You want to go check it out?
Let's do it.
Here's the future of agriculture.
Oh my gosh.
So what do you think?
It's beautiful.
Total, we've got over 250,000 square feet of greenhouse structure here. So if you remember some of the seedlings that we saw in the propagation room, after they're in there for about 9 or 10 days, we bring them out into the greenhouse. And you can see they're at a much higher density right here. So these are seedlings that came in yesterday. They all shift to the south end of the greenhouse. They get transplanted into a board with a little bit more space, and they come back and everything gets harvested from this end. So the head lettuce is usually around 35 to 41 days old by the time it gets harvested.
And so once the trays come off, they come into this flume and they go towards where they must be harvested,
You
right?
bet. Yep. So the lazy river just simply takes them down the length of the greenhouse, and we turn them into our processing room where they actually just get cut with a bandsaw and get harvested. And then the boards continue on, they get cleaned and reused, and the product all gets packaged.
Once they're down there in the germination trays, how long until they reach the flume?
We call it a bioplan, and that's how fast the product moves through the facility. And it's always changing, and every different variety has a different bioplan during a different time of the year. So I would say an average bioplan is about 20 to 21 days.
Okay.
So pretty quick turnover, actually.
Yeah. So you're turning over these boards every 21 days on average, and then they get replanted, germinated, right back into the water.
You bet, and start right over.
40 days, you have flipped this thing twice.
Yep, exactly.
Wow.
And this is all grown with nutrient-rich water from our fish house, so it's all repurposed nutrients, which is what's so special about this project.
You know, some people will say this isn't farming. This isn't something that our grandfathers have done for generations. It defies how we understand agriculture.
With the population expanding the way it is, we have to make sure that we continue to find innovative ways to make food, and it's got to be good, healthy, tasty food. And because this is so efficient and sustainable, we're using 10 to 20 times less water, and we're growing 30 times more product per square foot than you would do conventionally outside. And so we're using less resources, we're using less land. This is important.
I can't wait to see how you harvest it. You said something about a bandsaw.
Yeah, let's go check it out.
All right.
So this gives you kind of a good view of how we harvest the product. Obviously the window's a little bit foggy, but that's because it's a temperature controlled room. So we keep it just under 40 degrees Fahrenheit in that room. So the product makes the corner, heads straight into the processing room, and you can see it gets conveyed up onto the harvester. And that has a bandsaw that's cutting the product, lifting it up onto a separate conveyor and dropping it in those bins. Those bins then get delivered over to our left, and then there's a large scale. So multiple scales will open up as they fill and drop product into a clamshell. And so right now this system can do about 40 clamshells a minute.
Where do people find this?
Anywhere from Quick Trip to Whole Foods to local restaurants, high-end restaurants, any restaurant.
So you said Quick Trip there, like
Yeah.
convenience stores.
Sure. Quick Trip was one of our first customers, and actually that was part of the mission and vision, is truly to give people access to fresh, healthy food. And and everybody should have access to it. And Quick Trip is an awesome Wisconsin-based company. They've got, I think, 700 retail stores in the Midwest, and they're in communities where people don't have access to grocery stores or they're really far away. And so that was kind of one of our first targets, was let's get into a convenience store and kind of break the model and the mold. We've got organic lettuce in a convenience store, and that's a really cool part of the story.
When you put all the new facilities online, I mean, what does that increase your production?
We'll be harvesting, when phase 3 greenhouse is completed, about 15,000 pounds of lettuce every day. So that's a lot of lettuce. We're trying new varieties every single day. Pak choy, mizuna, kale, mustard, arugula, red leaf lettuce, various types of green leaf lettuces, green romaine, red romaine, butterhead, you name it.
Incredible.
So here's one of our gem varieties of green romaine. And what's cool about these, you just break it off. I mean, this is all great product. So
yeah,
go ahead and try some.
Indeed.
What do you think?
That's delicious.
Good?
Yeah. But it's got the crunch, man. I think that's like, one of my biggest fears is with things growing inside, sometimes you miss that like biological hardiness. Mm-hmm. This has totally got it. You know what would go really, really well with these organic greens? Some Atlantic salmon.
Let's do it.
All right, you know a place where we can see some?
Let's go check it out.
Cool. Awesome.
All right, welcome to the fish house. We've actually got 5 different systems in the building here. So we bring in the fish as eggs,
okay,
and then after the fish hatch on site, we move them into what we call a smolt system. That smoltification, that's the physiological change that they would go through in the natural environment when they go from fresh water to salt water. And then we move them into our larger system, which is today our grow out system. And so that process takes actually about 2 years.
How many fish are you able to, harvest in a week?
Right now we harvest about 400 fish a week. So, and then they're about 10 pounds a piece. How about we take a look at the hatching room and we'll look at the eggs?
Yeah, the sacklings. I want to see those.
So this is our first feed tank, or hatching tank. And these fish are only a couple weeks old, actually.
How many fish am I looking at in here, approximately?
There's about 40 to 50,000 Atlantic salmon in here. All our fish are fed a non-GMO, organically certified diet. No corn or soy in any of our feed.
And how long will these fish stay in this tank?
They'll be in here for about 3 months. These fish will be moved with a tote and a bucket over to the smolt system.
Cool.
Want to go check it out?
Let's do it.
Awesome. So each group and batch of fish as they move up is in groups of 40,000. And as they grow, they move up into larger tanks. So the tanks never get too dense.
Why salmon?
So 90% of all seafood in the United States is imported. And specifically Atlantic salmon, it's all grown in large net pens in Norway and Chile, also Canada. These Atlantic salmon are being grown close to home versus traveling on an airplane or ship 4,000 miles to get here.
Right.
We're obviously able to do it right here in Wisconsin.
One of the big discussion points about farm-raised fish that they weren't as healthy as wild caught.
Well, so a lot of the wild caught fish, you got to worry about other things. So it might be high in omega-3s, but what else, does it have in it? Does it have heavy metals and mercury? I mean, there's a lot of crazy stuff in our oceans, unfortunately. And then when there are these massive fisheries off the coast, their biggest cost is feed. So unfortunately, they'll replace ingredients, high value ingredients for low value ingredients. And that's why the omega-3s are going down in farmed fish, but you can't lump in what we're doing with all farmed fish. So
you're kind of blazing a new trail, aren't you?
You bet.
Yeah. Let's see something that I can actually eat.
All right.
Yeah. Man, look at these slobs. Holy cow.
So these fish are about 5 or 6 pounds right now, and they'll be harvested in about 4 or 5 months. So that feed conversion ratio is most important right now.
Sure. Obviously, you don't have 40,000 fish in this tank right now. So you split them up in the facility. How many fish do you think you have in this tank right now?
There's probably about 3,000 fish in this tank right now. So we have both Atlantic salmon and steelhead.
Okay.
So the blue backfish are steelhead. And a steelhead is just simply a rainbow trout, but it's obviously much larger than a conventional, or what you would think a rainbow trout is. This is a 22,000 gallon tank, so it's actually 10 feet deep.
So where do they go after this?
After this, the fish go to what we call a purge system. And so what we do is we put these fish in a super clean tank. And we want to remove any, that earthy tone that the fish might have in its fillet. If you take the fish off feed for about a week, you're actually fasting them and they're able to flush off that off flavor, which is a super important piece of the puzzle to making sure you've got a really good tasting quality product. And we've done a lot of studies with various research facilities and Sea Grant to make sure that we've got the best tasting fish in the world.
This is truly incredible.
So Luke, one of the cool parts about this farm is that we utilize all the waste. So all the solids that we can't use to grow organic vegetables in the greenhouse, we harness here on site, along with any fish offal or any waste from the greenhouse itself, roots and grow media and things like that, unthrifty lettuce, all gets composted on site. And then we've got a nutrient management plan built in where we can actually take this really good soil and put it back onto the land right here, so everything stays right on the farm. You'll see down below is a big irrigation pond. So another cool part of the sustainability side of our story is all of our production water is captured on the property here in an irrigation pond and then irrigated onto our fields. So we're not dumping loads of phosphorus and nitrogen into the river.
That's a pretty big undertaking.
A lot of people forget about this piece of the puzzle, and this is what will stop a lot of farms from happening.
Sure.
I've heard some horror stories about other farms trying to get started and they didn't have a game plan for the waste side and the back side of this project or a similar project. So you got to pay attention to all aspects.
Yeah, it really is. It's a much bigger project than just growing fish and greens. It really is. How many acres are included in the property here?
We've got 800 acres total.
800 acres.
And tonight you'll see a couple of lakes that we can go catch some fish in. We'll have dinner down there.
Nice. Just a bunch of blue cheese and that was good. This place keeps getting better and better. Every single turn, it's like something new and beautiful and just idyllic. I know that when I close my eyes and I think about what Wisconsin looks like, this is it. I am so impressed.
Well, let's go down and have some salmon.
All right, I'm starving. Let's eat. We're gonna put some of these superior fresh salad greens down. These are absolutely some of my favorite go-to snacks. I'm always telling cooks, you gotta bunch them up so they get a little tight, get a little bit of vertical on them. And I'm gonna actually pop this off. Chickpeas. What we have here is a little bit of a pumpkin vinaigrette. So the plate, it's literally, so much of this comes from right here. It's kind of a closed circle type of scenario. The greens, which I love, the salmon, which, I'm learning so much about. I actually can't wait to taste it.
Awesome.
You ready?
You bet.
Bon appetit.
It is really good.
This is delicious.
Very good. Well, it doesn't get any fresher than this.
Those greens are cracking. I think that these are really snappy, which I think is sometimes, it gets lost in the aquaponics or the hydroponics industry. Sometimes those greens end up being, kind of insipid and limp. But these really do. They are fresh.
From the taste, the texture, the crunch, the color, those are all very important parts of every single mixture that we put together on the farm.
Amaro. This is a wine that actually comes from Trempealeau, Wisconsin. Not so far from here, actually. And, you know, in our quest to do all things local, we thought that this might be a nice autumn pairing. Brandon, you know, I can't say thank you enough for a great day. And I guess, you know, like, I am so surprised at everything that you guys are doing out here, but I'm not. This is exactly the way it should be. You know, people from this place picking itself up and making it better and creating a better future for tomorrow. So in that spirit, cheers, brother. Thank
Cheers.
you. Keep up the good work.
Thank you. How does it really taste?
It tastes great.
Great, good.
You ever see a man Neanderthal ahead of lettuce? It's
Driving.
Driving, jump in the compost. That's what sold me, you know, far and away on what you guys are doing here. Hey, how are you?
Hi, how's it going?
Good.
Good.
Oh,
Can you go with my mommy for a little bit and come back in a little while?
that's a great
Yeah.
cameo.
Is that okay? All right, thanks.
Wisconsin Foodie would like to thank the following underwriters.
Introducing Organic Valley Ultra. Milk with more protein, half the sugar, and no toxic pesticides.
Let's be honest, none of that healthy stuff really matters unless our kids will drink it.
Yeah, I would drink that.
You hear that? She would drink that!
Parrots are weird.
More protein, half the sugar. Organic Valley Ultra.
The dairy farmers of Wisconsin are proud to underwrite Wisconsin Foodie and remind you that in Wisconsin, we dream in cheese. Just look for our badge. It's on everything we make.
Employee-owned New Glarus Brewing Company has been brewing and bottling beer for their friends only in Wisconsin since 1993. Just a short drive from Madison, come visit Swissconsin and see where your beer's made.
Wisconsin's great outdoors has something for everyone. Come for the adventure, stay for the memories. Go wild in Wisconsin. To build your adventure, visit dnr.wi.gov.
From production to processing, right down to our plates, there are over 15,000 employers in Wisconsin with career opportunities to fulfill your dreams and feed the world. Hungry for more? Shape your career with these companies and others at fabwisconsin.com. Specialty crop craft beverages use fruit grown on Wisconsin orchards and vineyards to create award-winning ciders and wines. Wisconsin's cold climate creates characteristics and complexities that make this craft beverage unique to our state. Society Insurance. Freshwater Family Farms. J. Henry & Sons Bourbon. Something special from Wisconsin. Marcus Hotels and Resorts. Central Wisconsin Craft Collective. 91.7 WMSE. Edible Milwaukee Magazine. Also with the support of the Friends of PBS Wisconsin. For more information about upcoming Wisconsin Foodie special events and dinners, please go to wisconsinfoodie.com. Still hungry for more? Get connected on Facebook and Instagram, and also make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, where you'll find past episodes and special segments.